Welcome back, McFly subscribers. So this is what we're tying today. It's an RS2 Emerger. So I'm going to discuss this fly and its uses later in the video, but let's go ahead and get started tying now. Place your hook securely in your vise. For a hook, you want to use a standard dry fly hook, like these barbless Risen Dry Fly 100s. And today I'm tying this in size 20. These generally are tied very small. And because of its small size, I'm using this Vivus 16-aught thread, which is the finest thread that I have. And we're tying it in black today. Start your thread with a small space back from the hook eye, and do not remove the tag end. In fact, it's best to leave a longer tag, and you'll see why later. Tie back to just shy of the hook bend, ensuring that the tag stays right on top of the hook. Then you can clip it back to keep it out of the way. We will need some micro Fibbets for the tail, and clear, or this brand calls it cream, is the traditional color used. Select 2 from the hank here, which honestly isn't very easy to do, and then snip them off at the base. I'm trying to show you that it's 2 here, but it's clear so it's hard to see. Let me get a bright colored back here. Okay, there we go. You can see it's 2 Fibbets now. Okay, tie these in directly on top of the hook with 2 light wraps. So I left the tail a bit long because I plan on adjusting it. Just pull the butt ends of the Fibbets to shorten the tail. You'll want a longer tail, so about as long to double the hook shank length. When you're happy with the length as I am here, make a couple wraps back just into the hook bend. Then make a wrap under the tail to lift the tail and splay out the fibers a bit. Also ensure that you're pulling the thread tag straight back when doing this, so it doesn't get off center. After wrapping under the tail, then come back up a few wraps. Pull up the tag end between the 2 Fibbets, which will fan them both outward. This fly has a fairly wide set tail. Capture that tag with a couple tight wraps after adjusting the tail to your desired look. When you're happy, cut off the tail and thread tag, about at your thread starting point. Unfortunately, the tail got a bit off center for this fly, but that's okay though. The fly should still fish properly. Okay, now we need some really fine, dry fly dubbing, and this UV2 fine and dry will fit the bill. And today we'll be using black. Notice that I have this stretched out, so it's not one solid clump. This will help make a finer noodle. Dub this onto your thread, creating an extremely thin noodle. And you can even wet your fingers here if you find it helps to compact that noodle more. You do not want this loosely dubbed on. You want a really tight and really fine noodle here. Okay, let's start winding this noodle on. Starting back at the beginning of the tail, making touching wraps up the hook shank, forming a small body. Now, generally you want a tapered body for most flies, but in this case I like to have a perfectly even body here. Unfortunately, this isn't dubbing on the way that I want, and the back is bulbed out a bit more than the front part of this, which is creating a bulbous butt on this fly. Still fine, and definitely fishable, but not really what I was looking for. Now I'll discuss this further in the video. Okay, that was too much dubbing, so I'm pulling some off. And you'll want to finish about an eye length space back from the hook eye. Now for the wing, we will be using these CDC puffs in white. I find that wetting the puff really helps with tying them in. Also, cutting the tip off to a square helps as well. To tie in, rest the feather on top of the hook shank and make a pinch wrap right up behind the hook eye. And then pull the puff rearward until it's out of the hook eye. Then make a couple tight wraps to lock it into place and cover up the tip of the feather. Now we need some more dubbing, and this time even less of it, but create a noodle about the same thickness as before, just a little shorter. Wrap this back up over the wing so the head is about 1/4 to 1/5 of the hook length. And then I like to wrap one wrap under the wing to prop it up slightly. Then form a small bulbous head on the fly with your dubbing noodle and end with bare thread right behind the hook eye. For head cement, I'm actually using this UV resin made by Solarez. It's called Ultra Thin and it comes with a handy paintbrush and the cap for easy application. Since we're dealing with the dubbing head, I paint a little on the thread before whip finishing in to keep this from soaking into the dubbing. To cut the wing off properly, hold the feather outward like so and make a straight up and down cut with your scissors, back to about the hook point mark. You don't need a very large wing on this fly. Oh, and keep the feather as you can make 3 to 4 RS2s with it. And don't forget to cure the resin also, as I almost forgot here. Okay, there we go, the fly is now finished. RS2s are extremely effective flies, and they seem like they would be easy to tie, but to tie them perfectly takes some patience and experience. As I already stated, I didn't like how the abdomen of this fly came out. It has a bulbous butt, where that should have been straight across. And there lies the difficulty of this fly. Not only are those fibbets difficult to tie in, but if you don't get the shape of the body correct, then you will end up with a funky looking fly like this one. Okay, here's one with the correct body shape. But that's okay, this fly will still fish the same, and I don't think a trout is going to know the difference honestly. So don't beat yourself up like I'm doing here. Just tie a bunch, fish with them, and over time yours will start looking better and better. So RS2s, I think, are traditionally tied to mimic a Trico, which are small little mayflies with very long, thin tails. They work great for Trico hatches, but you can also tie them without a tail to match Midge hatches. I mean, with or without a tail will probably work for either bug hatches, honestly. You can tie them in different colors like this blue wing olive imitation, where I use a gray colored CDC wing and olive body. You can tie these in any colors, like I said, and even change the head color to be different than the abdomen color. So get creative and tie a bunch for whatever conditions you're fishing. So for the month of January, I'm tying a bunch of different midge patterns. Last week I tied this very popular zebra midge for you all and showed a few different variations of it. And next week I plan on tying the WD-40. Another great midge or baetis pupa pattern. So make sure that you're subscribed and hit that bell notification so you don't miss any future videos. Well, I still have a ways to fill out my midge fly box for this year's fishing, but I'm off to a great start. By the way, I sell these boxes on Amazon with free shipping. They are magnetic backed and are waterproof. They're super thin and small enough to fit in most shirt pockets, or allow you to take multiple boxes with you in a small pack, organizing each box by fly type like this midge box. They also have rounded sides, which allow you to easily pull out small flies. Here's a size 24 midge that I just touch the top of and run it up the side until I can easily grasp it. No need to bring tweezers with you while fishing. The magnetic back holds flies into place, keeping wind or clumsiness from knocking your flies out of your box. And you can see I've got this upside down and I'm shaking it, but all the flies are still in place. These are extremely strong magnets. Also, I sell these silicone back boxes as well, which are self-healing. So I will link below in the description section to my Amazon storefront if you're interested. Also, don't forget to check out my sponsor, Risen Fly. They made the hooks I use today, but they also make some of the best fly rods and reels for the money I have ever used. Best off, they're offering you all a discount. So if you're in the market for a new rod or a bunch of hooks or beads, go to www.risenfly.com and type in McFly at checkout and they'll give you 15% off of your first order with them. Okay, thanks for watching everyone. If you like this video, please help me out and give the video a like and share it with all your fish-loving friends. I will see you on the next video. Now you go catch some fish.